Fun fact for you in Toronto this morning. Did you know the last time Toronto got snow on November 9th was 1995? For those doing the math, that's 30 years ago. Ironically, some of you know that I'm from Winnipeg, and I was watching this game from the warmth of my living room, where outside it was quite balmy for Winnipeg. It would have been perfect soccer weather, but such was not the case on November 9th. Not ideal, and not ideal when you're trying to build a startup league here. But how we got through this is actually a bit of an analogy with how this league was built this year. You know, we pivoted when things didn't go the way we wanted it to go. We made decisions based on our values, in this case, being the health and well-being of our players. We leaned into friends to support us, like Canadian Tire, who came in clutch with 40 shovels that day because we weren't allowed to bring on snow removal equipment on the pitch. And our soccer community showed up in whatever way they could, just like they did at the beginning and the launch of this league, and helped it make it the success that this first year was. And I'm going to talk to you about that this morning. But before I do that, and knowing that there is no snow in the forecast for Saturday, take a look at what we built this year. Less than a year ago, we were in Vancouver before that first game before 14,000 fans to launch Canada's first professional women's soccer league. And we did so with great ambition. Behind you, you will see our mission statement at the league, which was to be a top 5 league in the world, rooted in community, inspiring greatness on and off the pitch. And today, I'm pleased to share with you, after this first season, before our last match of this year, to proudly say we are well on our way to fulfilling that mission. And I have to say it starts and ends with our fans and supporters, many of who are here today and who traveled across the country to be with us, regardless of whether or not their team is in the final, to celebrate the accomplishment of really building this league with us. And so, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you who are here today. We really appreciate it. You're really a part of what we built here from the very beginning, so thank you. But from the beginning, you know that this was about the players. A league built by players, for players. And so this is just a bit of a reminder that we aimed high from the beginning, launching with one of the highest average salaries in the world, and this year landing at about $75,000 per player. With this salary came first-class benefits important to women's sports, including that were bargained for in other leagues, things like progressive maternity leave policies and benefits for fertility treatments. We launched with guaranteed contracts aligned with global standards, and we created a player advisory committee that gives our players a really important voice in shaping this league. And this weekend, we're welcoming our player advisory committee to celebrate with us. And it's been really my absolute pleasure, and I think Diana would say this too, to work alongside this group this season. Their counsel to me on how to build this league with them in mind has been really invaluable. So the one unknown as we were finalizing our business plans for this year was the players. You know, something out of the league's hands. What kind of player could this new Canadian league bring this first season? And their answer was pretty great ones. First, just some of the stats. 148 players signed representing 19 countries, 101 Canadians, 47 internationals, and collectively, this group brings with it 1,342 senior national team caps. That's world-class experience right here in Canada. And over half of our players are coming from first division leagues. 39 of our players have represented their senior national teams from Canada to France, Nigeria to South Korea. We've seen homegrown stars shine, and we've welcomed global stars who've chosen to play here because they believe in what we're building. Players like Esther Okoronkwo, Charlotte Bibeau, and Maggie Doherty-Howard, athletes who have lifted the global game and now are elevating ours. We saw 7 national team camp call-ups this year, a mix of experienced veterans and an exciting next generation of talent, from Holly Ward to Kaylee Hunter and Emma Regan, all of who you're going to see play this weekend. And we're going to continue to work with Coach Stoney to create more opportunities, more connections, and do our part in this league to help Canada win a World Cup. And beyond their skill on the pitch, part of the success of this season can truly be attributed to how great our players are off the pitch. Across the league, their skill, confidence, and fabulous personalities and amazing fashion sense have captured the attention beyond the pitch. Speaking of capturing their attentions, another fun fact for you this morning: together, our NSL players have over 3.7 million followers across social media platforms. Our players have loved sharing their journey with us in this first year of the league, and we've enjoyed watching their vibrant personalities and great TikTok dances and moves come to life. You know, women's sports athletes have to do for themselves what traditional sports media still has yet to do. They have built their own platforms, they've developed their own content, and we have been grateful beneficiaries of that at this league. But at the end of the day, it's about the game. And for those who had the pleasure of attending a match this first season or watching it on broadcast, you know the game was good. This was one of the most competitive leagues in the world, with 85% of matches within 2 goals or less. And there were a ton of goals, 2.6 per game, in fact, coming from 65 different players. And I just want to take a moment to congratulate DB Pridham, who was our first Golden Boot winner, along some very talented runner-ups. The first season in the NSL was also about building the commercial foundation for a sustainable and world-class league. Behind me are some notable first season stats. Top 5 league in attendance among professional women's soccer leagues in the world, with approximately 275,000 tickets sold this first season. We're top 8 in the world for league sponsorship revenue, and there has been almost $30 million in league-wide revenue in our first year. Alongside of our fans and players, we wouldn't be here without the partners you see behind us. These are our league partners. Iconic Canadian and global brands, many who believed in us before a ball was kicked. And now we end this season with 16 Tier 1 partners, again, that you see behind me. And when you count in the partners at the team level, it's another 50 plus. And not only do we love our partners, we love how they showed up this season, lending their platforms, their media spend, their creative talent to amplify this league to their customers in new and creative ways, like you see behind me. In fact, on my way to here yesterday, I saw an NSL takeover by BMO in Yonge and Dundas Square. Yeah. Oh, hi, BMO. And our partners brought extra value to our fans and players this year. Our players wore the Canadian Tire logo on their jersey, while Canadian Tire helped build stadiums, make their stadiums and locker rooms feel like home. Our partners offered discounts and prizes for our fans and tens of endorsements with our players, allowing them to earn extra income but also build their own personal brands through their platforms. I also want to make note of the support of Canada Soccer. With $1 million pledged to us over the next decade, each year over the next decade, and a group that has been supporting us tirelessly from the start, I just want to extend a special thanks to them. And of course, counted among our partners are our fantastic broadcast partners. We're in this atrium at the CBC right now because of the support of so many at the CBC. Canadians have been able to get to know us this year because of the CBC. And the same can be said for our friends at TSN and RDS, and of course, everyone at Dome, led by Megan. Between our broadcasters, our matches have reached over 3 million viewers on TV and hundreds of thousands more online. But as much as we are proud about what we accomplished on the pitch and in the business this year, we are more proud of the impact that this league has had off the pitch. Over this past season, the NSL and its clubs have partnered with over 100 community groups and youth soccer organizations this year. We've created hundreds of new jobs in soccer operations, in front office. We've provided new support for women in sports media. This is why we do what we do and what wakes us up in the morning at the Northern Super League. So we look forward to continuing to build impact alongside all of you in the years to come. To talk a little bit more about those opportunities that are to come, I want to welcome our Chief Growth Officer and my good friend, Diana Matheson.
Thanks. Can I pick it up? Thanks, everyone. I think I'll start by echoing what Christina just said there around, the sentiment. We're in the atrium at CBC here, and you saw a lot of stats there on the first year of the Northern Super League and the success we had. Things like 5th highest attendance in the world from year one. I think it's 4th according to benchmarking. So 4th year one, $30 million in revenue in year one. And that's, for context, there was reporting out this year that the Damallsvenskan, the Swedish league, one of the best, most respected leagues in the world, been around since 1988. They had their highest year ever for revenues this year, 18 million euros. And that's after 37 years, and we've done that number in year one. Or we're talking about things like Unrivaled, the talk of the town in women's sports right now. They did 27 million US dollars. We are not far off what they're doing, and that's because of everyone in this room. Again, we're in CBC, the Olympic partner, and when the athletes go and compete at the Olympic Games, it is as much the people in CBC that are a part of that Olympic team as the athletes and the COC. And it's you folks in the room that were as much a part of making this success happen this year for ourselves, for the PWHL, for the Toronto Tempo coming. This is the women's pro sport community in Canada, and we are world class at this. So please, everyone, give yourselves a round of applause. I think my job from day one has been mostly just to take what's going on around the world and kind of condense it down and just share those messages with Canadians to say, despite this thing not existing before, this is what's possible. And I'll hope to try and do a bit more of that today. So what's going on today in the world of women's sports? Guess what? Still growing faster than men's sports. It was Deloitte reports this will be a $2.4 billion industry. Women's elite sport, $2.4 billion industry globally this year. That's after being less than $1 billion in 2023. This is an industry that is not going anywhere. The dollars are continue to flow 2026 onwards as women's sports continues to take a bigger and bigger share of the sport market, which we all know is growing faster and faster. And women's soccer, we're fortunate we get to be the biggest chunk of that pie in women's sports. There's some reporting out there that says women's football globally is actually going to be the fifth most followed sport in the world by 2030, ahead of things like tennis. So we're just going to get bigger and bigger. And here in Canada, we are a world-class sport market. We know this. Who here didn't watch the Blue Jays? And is Canada a baseball country? Not really, but you give us a sports team that is doing well, we're gonna get behind it. And we're an even better women's sport country. We know this. We knew this since 1928, since the Matchless Six brought home 5 medals from the first Olympic Games we sent Canadian women to the Olympics since, to now. Women's athletes are an elite Canadian resource, and we have some of the best fans in the world. Culturally, we put our girls in sport at world-leading rates. So in this new economy, this new industry, one that is one of the fastest growing areas of sport, even though this industry didn't exist 2.5 years ago in Canada, we are one of the best countries in the world to build this industry and to capture this growth and build in Canada. And for the Northern Super League specifically, we built this thing specifically to grow and to grow women's football. It is absolutely the case that most of the women's professional soccer leagues around the world were built by their federation or by the men's league or by men's clubs. But as John Herdman would say many times, your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness. And although it's easy to get capital into those women's leagues, those are still, the decisions in those leagues are still made first for men's football and women's football second. While we here in Canada are built solely for women's football, and every dollar into this league is solely designed to grow the product here and setting up things like centralized media, centralized sponsorship. Those are things that aren't necessarily set up in other leagues. So structurally, values-wise, mission-wise, we are set up to grow in Canada. And we know this matters, right? Like we know, we've been talking about this for years. We know sport matters. We know the impact sport has on people. We know girls drop out of sport at 3 times the rate boys do, even though they start sport at the same rates. But we know sport has incredible impact on people, confidence and leadership. The impact of boys growing up in this country, knowing that the option of being a professional athlete isn't just for them, it's for everyone. That's a society I want to live in. And I think just as relevant these days is the economy of it. Sport is a massive economy. I learned this the other day, that grassroots sports in Canada is an $8.5 billion industry. That's the same as our lumber industry. That is massive. And we know it also has incredible societal benefits. And that's not including pro sport. Us, the PWHL, WNBA Canada, we are building the women's pro sport industry in Canada, creating careers and sport pathways and opportunities to grow businesses across this country and drive revenues. I believe this industry has the potential to be $1 billion industry by 2030. So quote me on that in a few years when we hit it. Also nation building, right? Like we are at our heart a Canadian league. We took a big bet on Canada, because we believe this can not just be successful in Canada, it can be one of the best leagues in the world. And we want to stop the talent drain going to US universities. We have world-class universities here, the world-class football talent on every side, from players to business, everything. Keep it in Canada. So what's next for us? Expansion, we know we've announced that. We're going to add 1 team for 2027 and continue to grow from there. I've said it before, we think about 12 teams for this league over 10 years is a good size. The priority for the next market is to get another team in Western to Central Canada, Central to Western Canada, because we want to make sure these player pathways and opportunities are coast to coast. That's so important for us. Cross-border competitions, the magic of football, W Champions Cup. We're looking to get an NSL club in the competition next year for the 26-27 competition. We've only got that half spot right now, so we're working with CONCACAF to get Canada more spots so more of our clubs can compete. And you folks all know what the women's sport community is like. All of us across sports, across leagues around the world, want to grow this together. So we've also got a great relationship with the NWSL, with the league in Mexico, Liga MX Femenil, and we're looking at other ways to grow our entire region together, and we're really excited about that. Also, we want to bring more dollars into Canada. We think we're so positioned for that global women's sport market to invest in Canada, and that's something we'll be pursuing so much over the next few years. So how can you help? You folks are one of the reasons we got here. You know that. And I would say continue to help in the way you can, whether that's social media or buying a jersey or telling the stories. It is still the case that despite the incredible success we've had this year, we still have to remind people that we're out there more than we'd like. It's only been, a year of this, 2.5 years. Women's sport, we're saying it, we're not a movement now, we are a movement. But when you zoom way out in the grand history of time, we're still right now a little speck on that timeline, and we have to remind people we're here and we're here to stay. And you folks are a huge part of helping make that happen. So let's not take off the gas for next year. We're so excited to continue building, and we will see you all of you, unless you're working the game here in CBC or Dome, at BMO Field on Saturday. Thank you. Any questions?